My name is Krista, and I'm here to introduce our next letter of the Nature A to Z series. We're going to talk about the letter K, and K is for kingfisher. This is one of our taxidermy birds that we take for education classes around the county, and a kingfisher is a bird that we see all throughout the county. Anywhere close to a wetland, like you can see behind me, I'm here at Cobus Creek County Park. Very, very good habitat for a kingfisher. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the bird itself and how you can identify this from other birds. Number one, it is a very stocky, big-headed, see how large the head is? Kind of short, stout bird that you always find close to wetlands. They have a crest of feathers along their head. They're always kind of a grayish color on the back and white on the belly. And this is specifically the belted kingfisher, and they are given that name because of this belt or ring of feathers that you can see right here. This is a male, and a male, I know that because a female will also have sort of a rusty orange colored band kind of on the belly itself. So without that, I know that this one is a male. Now, if you look closer, you can see this incredibly strong, stout, sturdy bill that is used for catching the food that it eats. Very, very strong. They have short little legs, strong wings, and you can see their medium length feathers have little spots on them, but also are square tipped. That's another clue for when you're trying to identify them. Most often, when you see a kingfisher, you also hear it. They have an incredibly loud call that they make. It's a very distinctive call. It sounds like a very loud rattle. Here's what it sounds like. You most often will hear this if you disturb them. You're coming into their area. It's an alarm call that they make to kind of warn each other, but also to try to deter you from being there. And very, very loud. They often do it while flying, moving from tree to tree. They are hunting, trying to find their food. And they have a very similar digestive system to other birds of prey, like a hawk or an owl. They actually, when they eat their food, which would be fish, crayfish, frogs, small birds, maybe even a small mammal that would be close to the water, they actually can't digest the bones. And so just like an eagle or a hawk, they will actually disgorge or regurgitate this pellet of the food, of the parts that they can't digest in their system. So behind me, you can see this wetland. Again, this is at Cobus Creek County Park. This is a pond right in the center of the park. It's lined with a forest or trees around it, which is perfect for a kingfisher. They have two hunting strategies that they use. One is they will perch on the trees right above the water, and using that keen eyesight, will just kind of survey the surface of the water, trying to see if they have any fish available at the surface, any frogs that they can quickly nab. That's one strategy. The other is to actually go fly out over the water and kind of hover in place, kind of like this, looking down on the surface of the water, seeing through the water to see if there's a fish. When they see one and they know they can grab it, they literally just take a dive right into the water using that strong bill, grabbing the fish or the frog or whatever it is that they're trying to eat. And then they bring it back up to the branch of a tree, like what you see behind me, and they hit it really hard against the branch to kill it, and then they swallow it whole into their mouths. So they can't hunt for too many things that are too large, but very effective hunters, very, very well suited for the build that they have, for the habitat that they live in. This time of year is when kingfishers, like many other bird species, are nesting or sitting on eggs. Now, the nest of a kingfisher is in a very hidden space. They are a cavity nester, but they create the cavity in a burrow in an open sandy wall, just like in this photo. You can see bare soil, kind of a tall, bare soil space. They will actually burrow into that, making a tunnel 3 to 6 feet deep. At the end of that 3 to 6 foot tunnel in this earthen bank, they will then burrow out a space where they will create their nest and have their eggs. 3 to 6 eggs. Once those young are hatched, the parents are constantly going back and forth, just like any other bird species, to feed those growing babies Eventually, you'll happen to see them at the entrance of this burrow fledging out, just like you would if you saw a bluebird fledging from its nest out of the nesting box. Incredible strategy, very, very effective to keep them warm, to keep them protected, to keep them safe from all the weather and predators. And both parents are very active in the rearing and raising of those babies. Now, I hope you've learned a little bit about the belted kingfisher. And next time you're on the river or walking along it, keep your ears open. Listen for that rattling call. Take a look. You might see them hovering over the water trying to catch some prey. And I've even seen them at retention ponds by parking lots like Lowe's or Walmart. They are finding any open water that they can to find their prey, to catch their food, and to survive and thrive here in Elkhart County. Thank you so much for listening. We do hope you stay tuned to our Facebook page and Instagram accounts to learn a little bit more about the belted kingfisher over the next 2 weeks.